I know what tomorrow smells like. And yesterday, too. You just can't. Not in some mystical way. I'm not talking about prophecy or instinct in the fuzzy hand-wavy sense people use when they want to sound impressed without actually explaining anything. I mean, right now, in this room, in this yard, on this street, I can detect the chemical record of what was here before me and the early chemical whispers of what's about to arrive. The mail carrier's route has a rhythm. The neighbor's dog has a schedule. The air itself carries a timetable, if you know how to read it. You're already reaching for the obvious explanation. Smell is about what's physically present. Something is here, it has a scent, you smell it. Something leaves, the scent fades, it's gone. Clean, logical, completely intuitive, and for your nose, honestly, a reasonable working model. For mine, it falls apart almost immediately. Here's what happens when you walk into a room. You register what's there. Coffee, maybe something left on the stove, someone's been here recently, and you get a general sense of the present moment. One frame, the now. Here's what happens when I walk into that same room. I get a timeline, not a snapshot, not a single moment, but a layered sequence of events that I can read backward through time, the way you might read a story from the last page forward. The coffee was made about 45 minutes ago, and the person who made it was calm but tired, slightly elevated cortisol, which has a specific smell. And yes, I know exactly what that smells like. They left through the front door 28 minutes ago, moving at a pace that says late but not panicking. They haven't eaten since the night before. They wore the same shoes they wore to the park 3 days ago, which means there's dry grass in this room right now. Faint, but absolutely present if you know where to put your nose. You have roughly 6 million olfactory receptor cells. Depending on my breed, I have somewhere between 220 and 300 million. But the raw numbers don't tell the full story. The more important fact is that roughly 40% of my brain's processing power is devoted to interpreting smell. Yours sits at around 3 to 5%. I don't just smell more, I think in smell. The world, for me, is not primarily visual. It's a place built out of invisible architecture, scent layered on scent layered on scent, each one a timestamp, and the whole structure humming with information that you walk past every single day without the slightest idea it's there. In 2009, cognitive scientist Alexandra Horowitz at Barnard College published Inside of a Dog, and in it she described something deceptively simple. I can tell what time of day it is using only my nose. Take a second with that, because it's weirder than it first sounds. A scent doesn't hold at full strength forever. The moment something leaves a trace, a footstep on a patch of grass, a hand pressed briefly to a door handle, a person moving through a hallway, that trace begins dispersing at a predictable, measurable rate. Strong means fresh. Faint means old. That part you might have guessed already. But here's the part that changes the whole picture. It's not just about strong versus faint. It's about the gradient between them. If you crossed this yard this morning moving from south to north, the traces at the south end are fractionally older than the traces at the north end. That difference in concentration, that slope, is a direction in time. I can read not only that you were here, but when you were here, and which way time was moving as you passed through. I'm not reading a static map of a place. I'm reading a moving record of events, with a timeline built right into the chemistry, and every step you've ever taken is still written somewhere in the world around me. That is how I know the mail hasn't arrived yet, even before I get to the door. The absence of a scent I was expecting, at the concentration I was expecting it, tells me something hasn't happened yet. I can smell the gap where tomorrow should be. In the 1970s, a researcher named Ken Lord conducted a series of scent-trailing experiments that quietly rearranged what scientists thought a dog's nose was actually capable of. He wasn't testing whether dogs could follow a trail. Everyone already knew that. He was testing the age limit. How old could a trail get and still be followed by a working dog? The answer, repeatedly, was not hours. It was days. Trails that were multiple days old, pressed into soil, absorbed into vegetation, exposed to weather, still legible, still there, still a navigable record for a dog working patiently through them. Then in 2017, Lucia Lazarowski at Auburn University's Canine Detection Research Institute went further. Her work on scent memory in dogs demonstrated not just detection but recall, the ability to store a specific scent signature and recognize it again when encountered later. A particular person's scent, a particular place's scent, a particular moment's scent, indexed, stored, retrievable. The past doesn't vanish for me. It gets quieter, yes, but it stays embedded in the physical world and I can walk back into it. This is the part I need you to really hold on to because it reshapes everything that comes after it. Time for me is not abstract. It is not a concept or a feeling or a philosophical notion about the flow of moments. Time is a physical thing with a texture and a direction and a specific smell. And wherever you go, you leave it behind you in a trail that persists long, long after you think you've disappeared. Noted in her research what I think is the most remarkable detail in this whole story. The chemical signatures of human emotion are real, detectable, physical molecules that linger in a space after the person who felt them has already left. Adrenaline, cortisol, the specific compounds produced by a nervous system under stress or grief or sudden bright happiness, these are not invisible. Not to me. A room where an argument happened 2 hours ago smells different from a room where nothing happened. I can smell the argument, not the memory of it, not a vague impression of it. The actual molecular residue of two people's nervous systems firing at full intensity, still hanging in the air, still absolutely readable. Your shoes carry last Thursday. Your jacket carries the commute you took, the seat you sat in, the stranger who sat there before you, and the specific quality of stress or relief you carried through the whole afternoon. Your hands carry the keyboard you've been working at, what you ate for lunch, whether something was worrying you around 3 o'clock. You take me for a walk, and you think I'm sniffing a fire hydrant. I am not sniffing a fire hydrant. I am reading the social history of this entire block for the past 4 days, and I find it every single time completely riveting. You think you're walking me. You are, technically. But every step of the way, I am reading you. The trail you believe you've left behind, the one you've already forgotten about, is the most interesting part of the whole walk. If the way animals read the world keeps pulling you back for another look, you're in exactly the right place. Outside right now, the grass holds last Thursday. Not a memory of it, the actual chemical record, pressed gently into the soil, fading slowly but not yet gone, still part of the living world I move through every morning with my nose to the ground and my whole mind alight. Your footsteps are out there, going forward through the week, yes, but also back. Every version of you that passed through this yard, this street, this park, still there, still legible, still quietly insisting on being read by whoever has the right kind of nose. You have never truly left a place. You just don't have the nose to know it.